Hi, class. Welcome to Introduction to Healthcare Delivery Systems, also known as HSA 6103. My name is Dr. Nancy Shahada, and I'll be your professor for this course. So this is an introductory weekly video. You'll find a video similar to this one for each week of this course. And in this video, I briefly go over the content pages found in this week's module, as well as the assignments that are due. So let's get started. So here we are. You will usually find this video right over here. And below that, you'll find the learning objectives for this week. And below that are the assignments. So for this week, you have your syllabus quiz. Make sure to review the syllabus, and you have an unlimited amount of attempts for this syllabus quiz. It does need to be completed by Sunday. You also have your icebreaker discussion board assignment. So this includes an introductory post in the discussion board forum for this assignment, where you will introduce yourself to the class. And you'll also create a short Flipgrid video, also introducing yourself to the class. And the reason I really like doing the video is it gets us all to feel a little more comfortable with each other, since this is a fully online course. All right, and you also have another discussion board assignment. It's actually a TED Talk, and it's titled, What Makes Us Sick? It's actually a talk by Rebecca Oni, who is the founder of an organization known as Health Leads. I think you'll really enjoy this TED Talk, and she takes a very interesting perspective on preventative healthcare and healthcare overall. So I look forward to reading your posts on this talk. And you also have a health paper topic submission that you need to do this week. And I know this is the first week of class, but I do want you to brainstorm a topic that you're interested in the area of healthcare. It could be a global health challenge. It could be a national health challenge. It could be examining a healthcare system, comparing another country's healthcare system with that of the US. So you have different options to choose from, but I do want you to take the time to brainstorm your topic and choose a topic that really sparks your interest. Now, with this topic, you will be putting together a very detailed preliminary outline for a paper that you'll be submitting about midway through this course. And then you'll be putting together a video presentation on your topic as well. So make sure you choose a topic that you are interested in and you'll enjoy researching. All right, so that covers the assignments for this week. Now, we are still on the first content page of this week's module. We have the readings listed. Chapters 1, 2, and 3 are assigned for this week. Chapter 1 is titled An Overview of the U.S. Healthcare System. Chapter 2 is titled Beliefs, Values, and Health. And Chapter 3 is titled The Evolution of Health Services in the U.S. Below that, you'll find the video lectures for the chapters that are assigned. I know here it says chapters 1 through 4, but it's 1 through 3, so I'm going to make sure to adjust that. Last, you'll find a weekly to-do list. You must complete everything on this checklist before going on to the following week. Now, I am going to hide myself and jump to the following content page. Now, on the second content page of each week's module, so you find a similar format for each week. You have the chapter PowerPoints for the assigned readings. I also have the kind of terms and definitions from each chapter. And then you'll find a section of information from the chapter. Now, a lot of this information is covered in the textbook. Of course, you are required to read the assigned readings, take the time to go through the chapter PowerPoint and the video lectures, and ultimately go through the information from the chapters section found in each week's module. Now, I'm not going to go through these week's module, this section, the information from the chapter section very deeply, since I do include a video lecture, and my video lectures are a little long, just to give you a heads up. But I do want you to take the time to go through them. And if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out to me. Well, really quick, I'm going to scroll back up. I don't want to get you dizzy. So first, for chapter 1, here is the basic healthcare delivery functions. It's a diagram and then some information on the 4 main components of the diagram. Below that is a diagram that just covers the external forces that affect healthcare delivery. So these include social values and culture, global influences, population characteristics, physical environment, technology development, economic conditions, and political climate. Then below that is a list of the main characteristics of the U.S. healthcare system, as well as the forces that shape the basic character of our healthcare system, which again, it touches on a lot of the things, the external forces that were listed above. And then the last section for chapter 1 covers different healthcare systems found in other countries and the 3 primary models, which is the National Health Insurance model, National Health Systems model, and the Socialized Health Insurance model. Then for chapter 2, we jump in to my favorite topic, which is public health. And here is a table covering the 5 core disciplines in public health. So you have biostatistics, environmental health and sciences, epidemiology, health service administration and management, and health promotion, which covers social and behavioral sciences, which is actually what I specialized in regarding my in my PhD program. Below that, we have the epidemiology triangle, and this is composed of 3 components. You have the host, environment, and agent. So what does this triangle tell us? It really, first of all, it's used to help scientists really study health problems and understand infectious diseases and how they're spread. So your agent really is the what of the triangle, right? So what is causing the disease? Then you have the host, which is the who of the triangle. So who is the organism harboring this disease? And last is the environment, or the external factors that cause or allow disease transmission, or the where of the triangle. Now, below this section, you have another section that goes through the primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention. So here you'll find the different levels. The example would be colorectal cancer, which is the disease. Then examples of the individual level as well as the population level. And then we look at primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention, to kind of give you an idea of what these 3 types of prevention are. Now remember, primary prevention seeks to prevent the onset of specific diseases. So here we're trying to reduce risk, okay? Secondary prevention includes procedures that detect and treat preclinical pathological changes. And the idea is controlling disease progression. And then when we're talking about tertiary prevention, the idea is to seek to kind of soften the impact caused by the disease on the patient's function. So the focus is longevity and quality of life. Below that is the force, field, and well-being paradigm of health. This was created by Bloom, what's also known as Bloom's force field and well-being paradigm of health. And what it really defines, it kind of goes through defining health as an interlocking combination of physical, psychological, and social well-being. So the major determinants of health regarding this diagram includes healthcare, genetics, environment, and behavior, as well as lifestyle. And then the last sections here include consequences for the healthcare delivery system. And then we jump to chapter 3. Now, first is kind of like a table here that goes through the beliefs, values, and the social, economic, and political constraints when we're talking about the U.S. healthcare system. So it kind of illustrates to you how our healthcare system has evolved, specifically looking at the development of science and technology. And then it jumps into the 5 main factors that explain why the medical profession remained largely an insignificant trade in pre-industrial America. And then the 7 key factors that contributed to the transformation of the area of medicine. And last is a section that covers the rise of private health insurance. Next, you will find the videos. So here are different videos that touch on topics that are covered in the assigned readings. The first video is by T.R. Reid, and it talks about different healthcare systems found around the world. Below that touches on or highlights China's healthcare system. And below that, it talks again about healthcare systems found around the world and comparing those healthcare systems and comparing them. Sorry about that. All right, so chapter 2 again, we're talking about public health. The first video is actually very interesting, and it is titled Global Disease Detectives in Kibera, Nairobi, Kenya. And it really it highlights the importance of maintaining surveillance indicators to prevent the spread of infectious diseases. And in this specific video, it focuses on very densely populated urban slums and how rapidly emerging infectious diseases can actually be spread. Below that is a video on what public health is all about. And then we have a TED Talk by Dr. Claire Pomeroy, which talks about social determinants of health. It's actually a great talk. I hope you take the time to view this talk. Below that, again, talking about determinants of health in relation to the Healthy People 2020. Now remember, Healthy People 2020 is an initiative on how to, or kind of like the objectives that we need to meet to make our country healthier. Okay. And then here is a video that goes into more detail of what the Healthy People initiative is all about. Then jumping to chapter 3, the first video talks about the history of health insurance in America. Then the second video talks about modern healthcare system in the US. And then the last video touches on health insurance explained. So just kind of highlights and breaks down different insurance concepts. Now the links you'll find in this module are for the assignments that are due in this module. You will find links that are assigned in each module. You'll find those links in the module itself. So always go to your modules link and go to the week we are on, and you will be able to follow this course easily. If you have any questions or concerns, never hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help. I look forward to having a great semester with you all, and take care, everyone. Bye.